Welcome, seekers of truth. Tonight you will witness a confrontation unlike any other, a dialogue across time, ideology, and morality. On one side stands Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher of the Übermensch, the one who envisions humanity transcending itself. On the other, Adolf Hitler, the dictator who claims to embody Nietzsche's vision, attempting to justify his perverse interpretation of the superhuman. Observe closely. The stakes are not only philosophical, they are the very essence of human destiny. Before diving into this intense dialogue between Nietzsche and Hitler, I highly recommend watching our previous episode, which is a complete explanation of the concept of superhumanity or the Übermensch. It will give you the essential foundation to fully grasp the philosophical depth and conflict that unfolds here. The link is above. Start there, then return to witness how Nietzsche's idea was twisted and challenged.
Friedrich Nietzsche, your concept of the Übermensch is exactly what I sought to realize. A people reshaped, perfected, each individual embodying strength, discipline, and the natural hierarchy. Through struggle, war, and the guidance of leadership, I would create a society in which every person achieves the potential of the Übermensch. Only then could we forge an empire of destiny.
You misunderstand profoundly and catastrophically. The Übermensch is not born of coercion, nor by imposing force upon another's will. It is not a product of political machinery, of laws, armies, or terror. To reach the Übermensch, one must cultivate oneself, freely, courageously, through trial and insight. You seek to manufacture the superhuman as one would forge a tool. But the Übermensch cannot be manufactured. It must be chosen, lived, and created from within.
But through selection, through breeding, discipline, and the removal of weakness, every trait of the superhuman can be achieved. Physical vigor, intelligence, loyalty, courage, all of it can be engineered. Civilization demands order, and the Übermensch is the inevitable result of such order.
Order? You call slaughter and domination order? The traits you speak of, strength, courage, insight, are meaningless when imposed externally. The Übermensch is not obedient, not uniform, not a cog in an imperial machine. Those who follow your method will never transcend. They will only replicate mediocrity under tyranny. The Übermensch thrives on freedom, creativity, and the courage to face chaos within. You have confused coercion with cultivation.
But Herr Nietzsche, if I could shape humanity this way, then each individual could reach the pinnacle of existence. The strongest would rise, the weak would vanish, and a perfect society would emerge.
And in this perfect society, what becomes of freedom? What becomes of the spirit that must choose, wrestle, and create its own values? You destroy the very essence of what it is to be human. The Übermensch is not the product of external force. It is the flowering of the soul, the conscious, courageous self-overcoming. You cannot compel greatness. You cannot legislate transcendence. You can only produce shadows of life, pale imitations under the guise of strength.
Wouldn't the method guarantee that the strongest survive, that evolution is accelerated, that the world is perfected?
Survival alone does not equal greatness. Strength without wisdom is brutality. Courage without consciousness is recklessness. The Übermensch does not rise from conquest over others, but from conquest over the self. You seek to impose your will, but true power is self-mastery, self-overcoming. Your method kills the very essence of what you claim to create. And so, your vision is not the Übermensch. It is a perversion, a monster draped in the illusion of power.
Tell me exactly what's your path for humanity to reach this ideal.
The path is always within. Education, self-examination, courage, study without prejudice, the relentless pursuit of insight and knowledge. These are the tools of the Übermensch. Not armies, not fear, not oppression. The Übermensch is a creation of the spirit, a flowering of individual freedom and strength through choice, struggle, and the acceptance of one's own darkness. You see only shadows. You believe the Übermensch is a product to be engineered, a tool to enforce power. That is not creation, it is destruction. The Übermensch arises not from coercion or genetic manipulation, but from self-overcoming, from struggle, from the freedom to create one's own values. Your method is tyranny masquerading as destiny.
No. With the right guidance, selection, and discipline, humanity can be molded. Strength, courage, genius, they can all be achieved. My plan ensures that these qualities emerge. Is it not creation if we eliminate weakness and cultivate greatness systematically? I could select the strongest, guide them through rigorous discipline, instill loyalty and obedience, and ensure every individual embodies the traits of the Übermensch. Imagine millions of such humans, a true new era. Surely, if every obstacle is removed, if the weak are disciplined and guided, the ideal can emerge faster. Isn't that efficiency? Isn't that realization of potential? My vision is clear. The disciplined, the educated, the strongest, and the purest. Under my plan, they will all attain the traits you praise: strength, courage, creativity, dominance. They can be cultivated externally.
You speak of speed and control, yet you ignore the soul's autonomy. Efficiency cannot forge character. Strength imposed externally is brittle. You cannot manufacture courage by decree, nor wisdom by mandate. The Übermensch must confront internal chaos and uncertainty. Every act of creation, every value, every virtue must emerge from personal struggle. Anything else is imitation, not transcendence.
Yet, if the state shapes every aspect of their life, education, discipline, heredity, environment, wouldn't the qualities emerge naturally? Isn't control a form of guidance toward greatness?
No, Hitler. External guidance can shape behavior, but it cannot forge the inner self. The Übermensch is not defined by obedience, nor by physical prowess, nor by the illusion of loyalty. They are defined by their ability to create, to question, to embrace suffering, to transform reality, and ultimately to overcome themselves. You cannot compel someone to conquer their fears. You cannot decree self-mastery. These are earned, not handed down.
Then, am I powerless to realize this vision?
You are powerless to create what must be chosen freely. Only the individual, confronting their own abyss, may become the Übermensch. Your attempt to legislate greatness will only produce tyranny and suffering, not transcendence.
You will see who the powerless is. This is the only way that works. Until then, farewell, dear philosopher.
After months, history bears the weight of one of humanity's darkest distortions, which is Adolf Hitler's perversion of Nietzsche's vision of the Übermensch. In the name of superiority, the Nazi regime unleashed a nightmare that claimed over 70 million lives, turned cities into ashes, and reduced human beings to mere numbers in a mechanized slaughter. What Nietzsche imagined as a spiritual transcendence, a call for humanity to rise beyond hatred, herd thinking, and moral stagnation, was twisted into an ideology of racial domination. The Übermensch was never meant to be a ruler of others, but a master of the self. Hitler's so-called Superman was not the creator of values, but the destroyer of meaning itself. And in this corruption of philosophy, millions perished. The blood of that century stands as a warning. When great ideas fall into the hands of the blind, even a philosophy of liberation can become a tool of tyranny.
Adolf, I saw what you built up. Can you hear me, Hitler? Shame on me that I couldn't convince you that night.